Xiaomi has this habit of releasing so many smartphones every year that sometimes it's hard to know which of these smartphones actually make sense. You have flagship models, the Pro models, the Ultra models, and then somewhere in the middle, you get a smartphone like this. This is the Xiaomi 17T. After spending about a month with this smartphone, I think this might be one of the more sensible smartphones Xiaomi has released. It's not exactly cheap, so don't expect the crazy budget phone story here, but it's also not trying to compete with the ultra premium flagships that cost an arm and a leg. Instead, it sits somewhere in the middle, promising flagship-like features without the flagship price. Well, after using this as my daily driver for about a month now, here's everything you need to know about the Xiaomi 17T, and so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. So let's start with how the smartphone feels in the hand, because this is where Xiaomi made some interesting calls. The back is glass and it's Gorilla Glass 7i, I think, which is nice to see protecting the back panel at this price. But I think this frame is plastic, which is a bit of a mixed bag, depending on how much you care about that. The good news is you still get IP68 rating, so it's properly dust tight and water resistant. And that's not always a given in this segment. It's a relatively compact smartphone, 6.59 inches up front, 200 grams, so it doesn't feel like a heavy slab. And if you ask me, this design is actually clean and understated. You pop a case on the smartphone and most people are not going to exactly know what this smartphone is. But that's not necessarily a criticism. This smartphone's design just blends with the modern flat-sided look everybody's actually running for these days. The display is one of my favorite parts of the smartphone. It's a 6.59-inch AMOLED running at 120Hz, and that's plenty smooth for everything you're going to throw at this display. You get a 12-bit color depth and HDR10 Plus support with this panel, so content looks rich and colors hold up really well. Of course, you can customize the color settings and maybe the temperature from the display settings as with other Xiaomi devices. The brightness on this display isn't an issue either. It gets bright enough that outdoor visibility is never a struggle. Where the screen quietly impresses is the eye care side of things, with high frequency pulse width modulation dimming and the certifications to back that. So if you're someone who is sensitive to flicker, this is one of the more comfortable panels you'll find at this level. Unfortunately, or do I say fortunately, I'm not sensitive to those kind of things, so I'm not able to tell from personal experience. But generally, this is genuinely premium viewing experience that I wasn't fully expecting on a T-series smartphone. Now, the one thing I keep going back and forth on is the fingerprint sensor, the placement on this device. This is an optical in-display reader and it works fine, as you can see, but it's mounted a little bit lower on the screen, but I prefer it sitting a little bit higher so I do not have to struggle to reach to the bottom of this display. That said, because this is a smaller smartphone, the reach isn't nearly as annoying as it would be with the bigger devices, so it kind of balances itself out. But personally, I'd still take this a notch higher. On the software side of things, you're getting HyperOS 3 on top of Android 16. And Xiaomi is promising 5 years of updates, which is a solid commitment and worth factoring in if you keep your smartphones for a while. The experience itself is fast and fluid, and the software has a matured look to it. It's clean, it's pretty, and the little touches like the haptics and the animations make everyday use feel alive. There's a usual stack of AI editing tools baked into the gallery, things like erasing objects, expanding shots, and the rest of it, and they work well enough if that's your thing. None of it feels intrusive, which is honestly a big step forward from Xiaomi's reputation. You'll still want to do the little tidying up out of the box, like deleting a couple bloatware apps from your app drawer, but overall, it's a polished package that doesn't get in the way that much. One other thing I think we failed to talk about is the dual apps and second space with Xiaomi devices. They really do help a lot, especially for someone who runs multiple businesses like myself. I want multiple instances of, say, my banking apps for different businesses, and that always comes in clutch for me with Xiaomi devices. This isn't any different. Now, under the hood, you've got the Dimensity 8500, and let me be clear here, this is not a flagship chip, but it's quite good for what the smartphone is. I would say top mid-tier to low flagship-like experience. I mean, day-to-day operations are a complete breeze. Apps open instantly, multitasking is smooth, and a lot of the credit actually goes to the 12 gigs of RAM, I think it's the LPDDR5X and UFS 4.1 storage doing the heavy lifting. The RAM management is excellent, and this smartphone holds onto apps in the background exactly when you want it to. Gaming is solid too, and you can play at high settings, and this smartphone holds up. Though when a scene gets really busy, you'll see the frame rate dip a bit. Thermals are well managed thanks to the cooling system on this device, but keep your expectations realistic. Push it hard outdoors or shoot videos for long stretches, and it's going to warm up like any other smartphone in this class. By the way, if you want to get the devices I reviewed on this channel, the exact ones I use in my videos, I have them listed on my website celltech.ng at the most affordable prices. You can get my Pixel 8 Pro, 8a and the 9 Pro for less than market value if you're in Nigeria right now. Just head on right now by scanning this QR code or using the link in the description box below to get these devices at ridiculous prices. Okay, back to the video. The battery life on this smartphone is something that refuses to quit. You're getting a 6500 mAh cell, which is on the bigger side of things, and this translates to genuinely great endurance. This is comfortably an all-day smartphone, and if you're a lighter user, you can stretch it further than that. Charging is handled by a 67 watts charger, which is included in the box. This is not the absolute fastest charging system Xiaomi has shipped out, but it's quite enough to top up the smartphone without much fuss. And you also get reverse wired charging at 22.5 watts. So in a pinch, you can top off other devices with this big battery. There is no wireless charging on here, but at this price point, with the charging brick in the box and the quick charging feature here, I'm not losing sleep over it. Now, this smartphone currently retails for around £649, 749 euros, which is around $850 for the entry-level 256 12GB of RAM. Now, this is a dual SIM smartphone without memory expansion slot, but my unit here is the 512GB option, which is $50 more, $900 or about 1.2 million naira here in Nigeria. Now the cameras, because this is really the headline act, you get a 50 megapixel main sensor with Leica tuning, and it produces good detail with plenty of contrast and grounded, earnest color processing that I really do like. The 2x is a digital crop, but it holds onto enough detail to be useful. Now, the star of the smartphone though is the 5x periscope telephoto lens. The reach on this smartphone is genuinely impressive, and it's that kind of zoom you don't usually see at this price point. It even doubles as a fantastic macro because of the close focus distance, with this lovely natural background blur that makes it feel like a proper secondary camera. I took a couple photos with this smartphone and compared with the S26 Ultra, and you can see that this has a relatively good detail at the zoom, even though in most cases, the S26 Ultra uses better processing to get what seems like better details. But generally, this is going to be better than most devices around the price in terms of zoom. Where you notice the step down is the ultra wide, and that's clearly the weakest of the three. And you can see the drop in quality when you switch over to it. The photos on the ultra wide are quite usable, but once you compare it to the main camera, you can clearly see the difference. At night, the Xiaomi 17T performs better than I expected. Details remain reasonably sharp, dynamic range is surprisingly good, and the Leica tuning helps maintain a pleasing overall look. But when compared to the S26 Ultra, that gives better low lights as expected. I mean, it's a way more expensive smartphone, right? Selfies come from a 32 megapixel main sensor, and the colors are lively and pleasing, though the detail isn't the sharpest. One thing worth flagging would be the face smoothing feature, the same way it is on other Xiaomi devices, so just be aware of that. Also, the colors are lively like I mentioned. Skin tones generally look nice. But my other complaint is that the detail isn't quite as strong as I hoped. It's good, but it's not exceptional. Video is strong for what this is. The 4K footage is nice and sharp with colors that stay on point. I mean, it's genuinely impressive. You can record up to 4K for both the front and the rear cameras, and stabilization is mostly good too. Although every now and then you'll notice little hiccups or moments where the stabilization system struggles to keep everything perfectly smooth. So where does that leave us? The Xiaomi 17T is a smartphone that knows what it's good at. You get a beautiful, comfortable display, a battery that lasts all day, software that I would say has finally grown up, and a telephoto camera that genuinely has no business being this good around this price point. Now the truth is, it's not a flagship device. The plastic frame, the weaker ultra-wide lens obviously reminds you that this is a cheaper device. Even the video quality is not the best out there, but it nails the things that matter most for the money. My only gripe with this device would be that this device should have gone for maybe $100 less than it is right now. Anyway, if you want a clean, fast smartphone that doesn't feel slow and gives you a real telephoto to play with, then this hits a sweet spot in the 2026 market for smartphones right now. I mean, this is hard to argue. So that's my take, but I want to hear yours in the comment section below. Are you buying the 17T or are you skipping this device? Drop me your comments and I'll catch you in this video here. You're gonna love this video. Catch you in that video. Cuídate.